I remember, in my dreams, there's a red eye in the sky.
A red eye?
The eye stared at us. I was so scared, so I ran away with Spark. I followed Spark and ran. But then Spark disappeared. I was all alone. Night fell and then... I don't remember what happened. All I remember is that it was dark and cold. Don't be afraid, Ruby. We're here with you.
You're back, Executor.
Miss Lynn, how is Ruby?
Lyra said that Ruby woke up from a nightmare, but before she did, she mumbled the name Innis.
Innars?
Innis was the name of the second city built by Meroria to house its increasing population. It's located northwest of Meroria and extends all the way from an underground cave to the bottom of the sea. But Ruby has never been to that underwater city. I don't know how she knew about it. Besides, Ruby is yet to be able to accurately debrief us on what she saw in her dream. She does not even remember ever mentioning the name Innis. I mean, she was just woken up and is not completely stable. I plan to let her rest for a few days. Let's go check on Rubilia first. She's in another lab, under Archon Larson's watch.
Lynn, are you going away again?
We'll be back soon. I promise.
The doctor's brain activity remains at a low level. We've attempted to apply different amounts of weak electrical stimulation without success. Dr. Clive suggests that we transfer Dr. Rubilia to the listener testing ground for in-depth studies, but I feel that's...
We cannot treat Rubilia as one of them. We'll discuss this later. Tianlong, did you say Dr. Rubilia was found inside an abyssant?
More accurately, it's from inside the Abysson's brain. I'm not sure whether the Abyssin evolved from Rubilia, or if she shared a kind of symbiotic relationship with it. The Crystamax implant caused changes in her, which made common low-level Grayspace entities see her as one of them. However, we have no way of knowing if this also works on higher-level Abyssins and what the end stage of this evolution would be.
Sadly, the doctor is unable to communicate with us. But judging by Ruby's dreams, and how she mentioned Innis, the doctor must have important things to tell us.
Ruby said she saw a glowing red eye in her dreams. I wonder if she's talking about that alien ruin in the abyss. It does resemble an eye in a glance.
But Ruby has never been to the confounding abyss and seen the ruins.
Maybe Ruby and Rubilia share a special bond that links their senses or consciousness. Ruby's dream may be a projection of Rubilia's dreams.
I agree with Lynn. It also matches the data we found in the lab. The Grayspace entities share a hive consciousness. Rubilia and Ruby, and even that puppet singer, are all part of the same colony.
Right, that makes sense. The message Rubilia left in the Abyss also clearly states that she's been affected by the voices in her head. That voice may come from a higher class Abyssant. But these are all hypotheses. We'll have to wait for Dr. Rubilia to regain her consciousness to be sure. Before that, she could only relay information to us via her shared consciousness with Ruby.
Everyone, everything that has happened today is on a need-to-know basis. We cannot reveal Dr. Rubilia and Ruby's identities to the denizens of Meroria. Lyra, you and Dr. Clive must find a way to wake Dr. Rubilia up ASAP. In the meantime, the facility must remain secure. And about Ruby. Lynn, you'll be responsible for her. Please take care of her.
Yes, sir.
As for Innis, we still don't know what Rubilia was trying to say. But if she has really become a part of Abyssin's hive consciousness, then she holds much information that is vital to us. I will have Innis's security level raised. Even though there is currently no Grayspace entity activity there, Meroria must still be prepared.
Is something bothering you, Shirley? Miss Lynn has been filling me in on exactly what's going on with Dr. Rubilia these past few days. It looks like Miss Lyra and her colleagues might have found a way to rouse the doctor. Her neural activity is increasing every day. But we're all a bit worried about what form exactly our reunion will take when the good doctor wakes. These concerns have prompted Archon Larson to transfer the doctor to the Silver Coast Research Station. What do you think? Do you think Dr. Rubilia will be back to her old self? Or something other than human?
I don't think the process has stripped Dr. Rubilia of her human capacity for reason and thinking. Her actions seem to have a clear purpose, like how she sent a message to Lynn using the puppet singer, or how she made contact with Ruby in a dream to try to transmit a message to Miroria. And when she bravely ventured alone into the abyss, she also left us with invaluable visual records in her lab and along the way. I think she must have prepared for the possibility that those who might come after her, like us, would need guidance. She must know what she's doing.
Think of the sacrifices she's made to understand these Grayspace entities, and how horrible it must be to keep at arm's length, treated as something potentially dangerous and inhuman. I can't help feeling that we have not done right by her.
It's a tough situation, but when she made these decisions, she must have had an inkling of what might happen.
I just hope everything she's done will turn out worthwhile in the end.
Executor, Miss Shirley, apologies for the intrusion.
What is it, Lyra?
I just picked up a message from the Silver Coast Research Station. Dr. Rubilia has awoken and revealed some very important information for all of us. Lynn is already on her way there, and I wanted to ask you to come with me to help assess the situation.
Understood. We'll leave at once.
The doctor was only able to rouse herself briefly, which allowed for a short interaction with us. Then she returned to her isolation pod. She released some kind of black fog that has obscured all our attempts to observe what's going on inside the pod. Subsequent attempts at communication have met with no reply.
I see. And so what did she tell you?
She said that large numbers of Grayspace entities have been summoned by the Hive Mother and are heading for the deep ocean near Innis, where there are some things they are very interested in.
What's this Hive Mother? A Grayspace entity that's higher up the chain of command? I'm afraid a definitive answer may require the doctor's input. Our main concern right now lies in Innis. The doctor has already warned us numerous times that the second city is in extreme danger. That is, if we are to trust her words. Archon Larson has already put patrols near Innis on high alert, but recently we haven't received any reports of a Grayspace entity intrusion, which is perhaps even more disconcerting than if we had. It's possible the Grayspace entities have found a way to cloak their arrival via an as-yet undetected method. My next question would be, what exactly is attracting them to the area?
Director Ava, did Rubilia say anything more detailed in regard to Innis?
No, and I'm afraid she did not appear to be in the best state of mind. She claimed to be suffering under the effects of the Hive Mother's will, and that she was not able to interact much at all with us as a result. Moreover, she soon disappeared back into the black fog I mentioned. Stasis chamber data anomaly. Miss Lin, the doctors...
I can hear you. Rubilia. But the Hive Mother can hear you too.
Where is the Hive Mother?
In my head, whatever I see, whatever I hear, she hears and sees. And I can't escape her, even in this pod.
She can sense your surroundings somehow? Using your eyes?
Any Grayspace entity can become the eyes and ears of the Hive Mother if she so chooses. Nor can I do anything to resist her will. I know that when she looks at me, she can see whatever I see. Right now, when the bulk of her attention is still focused on the Innis artifact under the sea, I can maybe conceal a little bit of what I'm thinking from her. But I'm not sure how long that will last.
What is this artifact under the sea that Innis possesses?
I don't know. I can't fully comprehend the will of the Hive Mother. All I know is she's calling me, and the call is getting stronger and stronger. She needs all of her millions of children to go and release her.
Release her?
The Hive Mother herself is currently imprisoned within a cage of black stone. But the power of the cage is gradually weakening. And when finally that cage is broken, the Hive Mother will reemerge fully into our world.
A cage of black stone? Could it be deep under the sea at Innis?
I can't get any kind of accurate sense of the Hive Mother's current location. Perhaps there is a pocket of abnormal space, like the confounding abyss near Innis.
It's difficult to imagine what kind of person could have the power to cage the Hive Mother. But I suspect the Blackstone ruins left in the confounding abyss may be their handiwork as well.
I don't know much about that. I have no access to the minds of those powerful abyssins. But as for the inferior, younger Grayspace entities, they do not have the ancient memories of the Hive Mother, nor seek to continue her ancient grievances. I'm still trying to establish closer contact with them, and some kind of rapport. But I feel like the closer I get, the less human I become. I just don't know if I can. If I can.
Rubilia?
The stasis chamber's readout has returned to normal. Her consciousness is fading.
Listen carefully. She is keeping a close eye on me. I have to retreat back into the fog. She can use all my senses for her own purposes. Only the fog blocks her vision. Innis, you have to stop her.
If what the doctor just said is true, then I'm afraid the entire region may not be the friendly human habitat we imagined. I will inform Hykros headquarters of what has transpired here and request urgent reinforcements. We will have to prepare for the worst.
It doesn't look like the doctor is capable of many conversations in her present state, Archon Larson. But she must know even more than what she's managed to reveal.
Yes, we'll have to see whether we can minimize or cut off the Hive Mother's influence. It might help to stabilize her. Lyra, can I leave that to you? Dr. Clive will provide all the necessary resources.
Yes, sir.
For the time being, Dr. Rubilia will have to remain confined within her pod. We can't risk bringing her back to Meroria at this stage. Director Eva, An executor team led by Captain Merrill will help you shore up the research station's defenses.
Yes, sir.
As for Innars, Lynn, can you organize a team to investigate? And if necessary, we may need to stagger an evacuation of Innars' population to Meroria.
Understood.
Time is against us. I suggest using the long-range space rift located within the station to reach Innis directly.
And as for Rubilia, she's in your hands.
Don't worry, Miss Lynn. We'll look after her.
Very well. Executor, Shirley, let's go.
Sorry for delaying your important mission, Lynn.
Is the space rift out of action?
It seems so. Strange. It was working just fine 5 minutes ago. Then, when I was running some basic system checks, suddenly, I couldn't locate the space rift beacon in Innis.
And why could that be?
Well, we're running diagnostics to see if the machine is malfunctioning, but it could be a problem with the relay station or Innars' own space rift. Yes, hello? Did you manage to get in touch with the technician in Innars? Oh, what's that? Then... and Outpost 10? Okay, got it. Bad news. Something's happened to Outpost 10. We've lost contact with it.
And where is Outpost 10?
In the ring-shaped river valley not too far away. Outpost 10 is responsible for servicing our telecommunications and space rift networks with Innis. A problem of this magnitude with Outpost 10 means we've lost contact with Innis altogether. I don't think it's a coincidence. I suspect the Outpost may well have already come under Grayspace Entities' attack. Shelley, please inform Ms. Lyra about this at once. The Executor and I will investigate it personally.
Okay, understood.
Any news?
I've been trying to make contact with the Outpost for a while, but there's no response. It seems something really did happen.
Could it just be a problem with the Outpost's communications equipment?
If it was just an equipment malfunction, the Outpost would have already gotten someone to inform us. But we've heard nothing from them. But if the place had indeed come under Grayspace Entities' attack, the Executor there would have notified headquarters right away. We haven't picked up any message of the sort. No request for reinforcements, nothing. Unless
what?
Unless the Outpost's defenders were taken out so quickly that they didn't even have time to get a simple message out.
But no ordinary Grayspace entity is capable of taking out an entire Outpost's Executor team and other defense personnel that quickly. Tianlong, which Executor is currently on duty there?
I think her name is Umi? Relatively new. I have only met her a couple of times.
Let's go. We need to get to the bottom of this.
Stay sharp, everybody. I'm detecting Grayspace Entity activity nearby.
So the outpost really was attacked.
Officer Lin, District 7 Executor in Training Umi reporting.
So you're Umi?
Yes, Officer Lin.
Just call me Lin. What happened to your outpost? Meroria has been unable to get in touch.
I've just returned myself. I was ordered to hunt down several Grayspace entities en route to attack the outpost when I intercepted their distress signal. I hurried back immediately.
Proper procedure requires that you immediately relay news of the attack on the outpost to headquarters. Leaving your post like that was not your call to make.
I'm sorry, madam. Lin?
And what of your colleagues at the outpost?
I don't know. On my way back, I was soon ambushed by enemies. And after that, I encountered you.
I'm detecting faint signs of life in one of the lower areas, as well as signs of Grayspace Entity activity.
The Outpost should have a built-in safe house for emergencies. Maybe the survivors hid inside.
Right! The safe house is located below. I'll take you there.
What?
The Hatcher is a special kind of Grayspace entity only recently discovered. Strange to find them here.
Look! The missing personnel!
Stop looking around. Get rid of the enemies first.
I performed a thorough check. They appear to have simply passed out. No sign of injury or loss of life.
They just passed out? Why would the Grayspace entities leave survivors? We've never seen anything like that before.
It may be a characteristic unique to Hatchers. What do you think, Umi?
I've never seen one before, so I have no idea. Sorry.
Notify headquarters of what's happened, Tianlong. Ask them to send a crew at once to pick up the injured. Also, Shirley, are you still picking up nearby Grayspace Entity activity?
There are no more stable Grayspace Entity signals nearby.
Miss Shirley, you can detect Grayspace entities? That's extraordinary! It takes us a whole host of complicated machinery to accomplish the same thing.
I've asked Shelley to make a few upgrades to my powers. I can't claim to detect them from very far away, but it does come in handy.
Incredible. Do you think that I could also...
Enough chit-chat. We've got a mission to do. Umi, do you think that the Outpost's equipment is still in good working order? Headquarters has to re-establish contact with Innis ASAP.
I'll have a look now.
Let's also try to collect any clues we can nearby. We may have eliminated all the Grayspace entities within the Outpost, but we still need to figure out exactly how they managed to mount such an effective assault.
Oh no, I wasn't able to restart the system.
Why? What's wrong?
The signal base station we used to connect to Innis is malfunctioning, and I can't get the auto-diagnostics to run. It needs a manual reset.
Signal base station. Weren't they built in the miasmic swamp ahead? Do you think they've also been attacked by the Grayspace entities?
Meroria always set up important field equipment like that with defensive force fields. No ordinary Grayspace entities would have the power to break through that. What concerns me more is that the base station came under attack at the same time as this outpost. In other words, we are not dealing with random events, but a coordinated plan by Grayspace entities with one clear goal: to cut off our connection to Innis.
Do you really think the Grayspace entities could... I mean, aren't they basically just wild animals running on instinct? Could they really pull off a coordinated maneuver like this?
Umi, do you really think they are simply wild animals without reason?
What do I think? I mean, I've only seen the most inferior of Grayspace entities, so I really couldn't know.
Tianlong, what's the word from headquarters?
They've sent a team to take over the site. Archon Larson wants us to go ahead and look into the anomalous space station in the miasmic swamp. We need to restore the network as soon as possible.
In that case, can I volunteer to protect the outpost until they arrive? My colleagues are still unconscious. If the Grayspace entities launch another attack, they could be in terrible danger.
No, you're coming with us. You know much more about what to expect in the miasmic swamp. And our highest priority right now is to repair the base station.
Then... how can we be sure that the outpost will remain safe?
We've already eliminated the local Grayspace entities, and the team from headquarters should arrive any minute now. I don't think it's a problem.
In that case, I'll lead the way. Here we are! It should be just ahead!
Very dense underbrush. Good to see the local ecosystem is thriving.
That is true to an extent, yes. A lot of animal and plant species would consider this something akin to heaven.
I wonder why Miroria never had the idea of setting up a settlement here.
By heaven, I didn't mean one for humans. Notice the thin mist up ahead? That's not water humidity. It's an airborne toxin harmful to humans.
An airborne toxin?
They once established an ecology research station here during the surface recolonization era. The place was home to quite a number of species human scientists had improved through genetic engineering. The Grayspace Entities destroyed the station sometime later, setting the station's experiments loose into the surrounding environment. Most of the species quickly adapted, and indeed soon evolved into something approximating a fairly holistic ecosystem. Unfortunately, one of the accidental byproducts of this new ecosystem was a deadly toxin. Rainfall and high humidity disperse a lot more of the toxin into the air. In short, it's become a terrible place for human habitation.
Can I ask you how you came to know the history of the area, Officer Tianlong?
Oh, I just heard it in passing from some friends who had been stationed here. You know, it's a real shame. The place is obviously...
Let's chat about this later. Right now, Umi, we need your help navigating this complex terrain.
Right. There are 3 signal base stations here. Come with me.
Alert! Grayspace Entities ahead!
Not at all surprised, to be honest.
finally got rid of them.
Do you often see Grayspace Entity activity around here?
We might come across a few wandering Grayspace entities from time to time, but not so many at once.
These are the least of my worries. What we should be concerned with is what may be waiting for us ahead.
Oh. There's not going to be some big, powerful monster watching us from the shadows, is there? I've never gone up against Abyssins before.
Whatever the danger is, that's why we're here. Umi, you're going to have to lead the way.
Officer Lin, I suggest we split up for the next section.
Is that so?
The 3 base stations are located in different parts of the miasmic swamp. Going one by one will take a long time. It may be better to split up and handle all 3 at once.
But we're not familiar with the terrain here. It could be dangerous if we don't stick together.
True, but we don't have the luxury of time. Right now, our orders are to repair the base stations ASAP. I think Umi has a good point.
All right. It makes sense to work quickly.
Then I'll provide everyone with a map of the area. There you go.
Umi, how do you think we should split up?
Eh? Me?
You're the local expert. Your suggestion carries a lot of weight.
I would say... Base stations 1 and 3 are near our present location. Officer Lin and Tianlong, you could probably handle these 2 respectively. Base Station 2 is the furthest, so as the local expert, I think I can lead Shirley and the Executor to tackle that one. And we should be more than capable of eliminating any Grayspace entities we may find along the way.
Oh, hey, I don't think that would be very smart.
Oh? Why is that?
Mainly because I don't have a good head for directions.
Shirley and I will handle Base Station 1. Umi, you take the Executor and Tianlong to Base Station 3. Then, if everything works out just fine, we can all rendezvous at Base Station 2.
And what if we run into trouble?
You should be able to handle yourself, right?
Well, when you put it like that, let's go.